last class, you have seen the introduction. Now let us see what is a communication, what are the concepts of communication, the types of communication, barriers of communication. So what is meant by communication? Communication refers to exchange of information between two people. So two people are, one is called a sender, the one who is sending the information, and the other one is a receiver. So a sender is the one who sends the information, receiver is the one obviously is receiving the information. So when a sender is receiving the information to a receiver, there should be something in between. What is that something which is in between? A medium for transmitting, a medium for transmission of the information. So what is it that we are talking about is that he is saying, say let us say a person is saying hello, welcome or good morning. So the content is hello, welcome, good morning. That is a message that he is giving. Then the other person is receiving. Now how do you send this information? You can talk to each other verbally, okay, or you can take a phone and then call, so voice. Now it's all social distancing, WhatsApp messages, WhatsApp audio chats, video chats. So you can talk to each other by means of your video calls, audio calls, WhatsApp calls. So medium of communication is phone, over Wi-Fi, okay, or voice calls. Now, so that means medium is this between the two persons. So what are the essentials of any communication system? A sender, a receiver, the message, the content, and the medium. These are the four essential parts of the communication. So when you are sending the communication, sometimes if two friends are talking, they don't want the third person to listen to what they are talking, so they give some message. They say they talk in a different language which others cannot understand. So that is known as coded information. So coding is also needed. You code the information and send. Let us say you can also send by means of writing messages, postal, emails. Okay, earlier it used to be letters. Now nobody I think is writing letters. It's all completely electronic mail. So that is also a part of the communication. So when you are sending, you can send in a form of a coded information. And this coded information, when it reaches the receiver, they will decode it and then try to understand. Okay, so far so good. We have a sender, we have a receiver, we have a message, the content, the medium, coding and decoding. Fine. Now, what are the essentials of a very good, effective communication? So for that, the sender should be giving you the correct information, and the receiver has to receive the information in the correct sense. Otherwise, the sender will say something, receiver will take it in a different way, and it may not be exactly, he may be thinking something, sending something, receiver will receive something else. So then it becomes miscommunication. So what are the essentials of good communication? Let us see from the speaker's point of view. That means sender's point of view. What is essential for a sender? He has to communicate properly, give the message correctly with the proper emphasis. If he is using some symbols, some gestures, that means they are known as verbal and non-verbal communications. Verbal means you will be talking. Okay, non-verbal means like this, giving gestures, giving eyes, expressions, and then maybe you must be seeing these news for the differently abled. There are people, some of them cannot see, some of them cannot hear. So for such people, different gestures, there is a formal training, they undergo training and they will give these gestures so that the people who are not able to, who are having some difficulty will understand. So if the symbols what you are using is not correctly used, then receiver will not be able to listen to or understand what you are talking. So that becomes a barrier. So these are the barriers. So the speaker should be very correctly saying what he has to say, very clearly he must say, very slowly he must say, so that receiver will understand. So these are the qualities of a good speaker or a good sender. Now when it comes to receiver should be able to listen to what the speaker is saying, let the sender complete whatever he has to say, and then try to understand. If he reacts before only, then he won't understand, he won't receive the information. So receiver has to be a very good listener. That is the first attribute of a receiver. He has to be a very good listener, then only he will be able to understand what he is talking. Okay, this is about the receiver. Then a receiver is fine. Then what message you are giving, that also should be clear. So suppose I am scheduling a class at 2 o'clock. Okay, and if I want to tell my students, please join my class at 2 o'clock, everybody will check their time and join the class. Instead of saying 2 o'clock, suppose I say let's all meet after lunch. Okay, the lunch can be, I may take lunch between 12 and 1, you may take lunch between 1 and 2. So according to me, I mean you all to join by 1 o'clock. But if your lunch time is between 1 and 2, when will you join? You will join only at 2 o'clock. So what I said is after lunch is understood by you as 2 o'clock, but what I meant was 1 o'clock. There is a miscommunication, isn't it? So these are all different ways in which communication fails. Also, this is how one problem is. So what are the different problems people face in communication? These are called barriers of communication. What are the different barriers that we have? We can have semantic barrier, we can have psychological emotional barrier, okay, and then personal barrier, organizational barrier. 4 types are very important. There can be many more. So what is semantic barrier? We said communication can be verbal or non-verbal. So when you say non-verbal, it is by means of symbols. When it is by means of symbols, the symbols should be rightly used. If not, they will be misunderstood by the receivers. Okay, so and then personal means, say suppose that person doesn't want to share the complete information to you, that becomes misinformation, that becomes a barrier. Also, if a person is a very big boss and he has so many vice presidents, assistant president and deputy and all those, by the time he reaches the employer, he has to cross so many. So he may be saying something, by the time it comes to you, it will be something different. That can also be a barrier. Okay, and then what else? Attitude, I told you, personal, psychological. Sometimes psychological problems also do come. So these are the different barriers of communication. Okay, so we'll discuss the next things in the next class. Thank you.